To change your life, to change our map, you had to remember so many things that maybe you wanted to forget. I had to confront things and patterns of behavior that I didn't want to see before. So this is shadow work. So shadow work is the work that we do of that part of us that is in the shadow. And it's actually that part that is hidden from our normal day-to-day life. So we get distracted, but this shadow is in the subconscious, and to just be able to open that and to see it directly, it's a tough work, but that is shadow work. And we're healing the inner child while we do this. But when you bring that into life and you can address it and look it in the eye, then the power is yours. We are going to be completely honest with the patterns of behavior that we used to have in the past. So like I talked to you about consciousness, about like subconscious and consciousness, that there's some things that are in the subconscious and they make us react. It's like our autopilot, and not even thinking, we're not even analyzing what we're doing. It's just our inner reaction. So knowing that, we are going to have to change that reaction, that subconscious, that shadow inner self. Accept your responsibility on it. And you will tell me, what are you talking about? From 0 to 7 to 10 to 11 to 13, I had no responsibility of what others did to me. I didn't. I was a child. It was like their fault and I was the victim. So let me tell you something. To be able to recreate ourselves, that victim label needs to go. It needs to disappear, because we're more than that. We are so much more than just a victim. Okay, when we can let go of that victim label, then is what everything is going to shift for us, making you think deeper, in a deeper level, that you don't stay just in the victim and justifying everything that happened to you. Just remember that addressing these patterns of behavior doesn't mean that you're addressing yourself. Okay, you are much more than this body, this human form, this moment in time. So whatever we are acknowledging right now is just our human nature, our human part, this tiny little human life that we have right now, that we need to purify, address, and become better, so we can just go to the next graduation of life. Don't feel guilty, because this is what we're just judging from up there, from our spiritual life, this human experience. Remember that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Your life map is going to show you your deepest resentments and the people that you have the deepest resentment towards. Where is your anger directed to? That's what your life map is going to show you. Your human nature that is not divine. This human that is not connected to your real inner power and inner self. I'm going to look at that shadow that is there, and I'm going to shine light on that shadow. And as a human right now, I am going to ask myself, what was in my hands? What was my part in this situation? What was my responsibility? And I know you will say, well, you were just a child. That's perfect. But now I'm an adult, and that past doesn't exist anyways. It just exists in my memory. It's gone. It doesn't exist. It doesn't. So understand, the past is not there anymore. It's gone. The only thing that exists of that past is here in my memory. And I bet that, other people have other type of memory of what it was happening. So it only exists in what I have created. I'm going to have to repeat myself and where's in my shadow. Okay. So now that I'm an adult, I am going to take care of that child. And I'm going to rewrite the story with the positive that I know right now about life. I'm going to rewrite it because now I know better, and now I have a better perspective in life. The first thing that I wrote about my shadow work was, what was my part? What did I do wrong in that memory of my past? Now as an adult, I can go and rewrite and teach my little Laura child, you are the only one that can make yourself happy in this world. It doesn't matter what is happening around you. Your happiness is your responsibility. You cannot make others happy if you're not happy yourself. I thought that I could fix and control everybody's problems. I thought I could fix the world around me. Now I know the only thing that I can control is myself. The only person that I can fix is me. The only thing that I can do is understand my patterns of behavior and control those negative thoughts. I know now, and I can tell the little child that everybody has their own path. Everybody is going to go in their own direction of learning. And we're all here in the human classroom of life in different levels. Now I know that. And I will teach that to my memory of my little inner child. Something that I learned I will always appreciate, and now I can be grateful and teach that child to be grateful is I am so thankful for that lesson, because now I can give my daughters unconditional love. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter if they mess up. They will always have my love unconditionally. Doesn't matter if they have bad grades, good grades. I really don't care. I don't care. It's unconditional. Unconditional is unconditionally, no conditions. I love them, period. And that's something that I learned that I think is fantastic. Because I learned it for me, for healing my inner child, and also for my future generations. Because it's not only my kids. When we stop the trauma, we are going to stop future generations to continue with this trauma, okay, and this codependency. And I was not thinking about my mother and father, that they came from their own stories and their own situations and their own traumas and their own sadness and their own emptiness and their own lack of love. So now I know better. They had their story, and I have to be compassionate towards that story. And I wanted to understand something. The forgiveness is not that you're giving forgiveness to somebody. The forgiveness is for yourself. The forgiveness is to let go. That's the forgiveness. The forgiveness that came from all this, like rewiring myself, was for me to let go. You don't have to forgive anybody. You don't have to go and say, hey, I forgive you. No, it's about you and your inner self. Now let's talk about our abuser. If you had an abusive relationship after your childhood. So we really didn't know better. We just reacted the way our subconscious mind was wired from 0 to 7. But now we can change it, because now we have a deeper, better understanding, a better view of all of what is happening around us. We are awakening. There was a moment I just realized something very important. If I'm a spiritual being having a human life, then if I tell my story that maybe before I came to this world, I had these teachers, this team that came here to help me develop myself as a spiritual being, not a human, as a spiritual being, then what does this person teach me about me? Because this is my path. I had nothing to do with whatever others want to do in their lives. That's theirs. This teacher came to this life to show me something that I needed to know and address to be a better spiritual being and graduate and be awakened and have a deeper meaning in my life. What was it? So think about it. Think, okay, this person came and broke me down in pieces because I needed parts of me broken so the light could come inside me. Is that a good way to see it? I learned nobody can give me the love, the strength, and the approval. Nobody can do it but me. No one else. Now I can see where others come from. I have a better view of life, and I can actually feel my heart full of compassion towards others that are suffering. And these others are suffering so much that spills to others. And sadly, I was under the spilling of this hurt. Now I can give the compassion, love, and wisdom and move on. Because now I know that whatever choices they're making in their life is theirs. not mine. And I can only love myself enough to say, thank you for this teaching. Thank you for teaching me how to be a better self. Now I can move on to the next level. I learned myself to put boundaries. I didn't know how to put boundaries. So I can love a person, I can be very compassionate, and I can love the person from far away if necessary. Please know that others need to respect you. But first you need to respect your own boundaries. Hey, this is my boundary, right? And then the person just completely trespassed the boundary, and I will cry and be angry and be upset and be angry, and say, why did you trespass my boundary? This was my boundary, didn't you see? Now I know that you can put a boundary with love, compassion, no anger, nothing. My boundary is my respect to myself. My boundary is for others to respect me. If somebody trespasses the boundary, it's my responsibility to just tell them, I'm sorry, I'm closing not totally the door, because you cannot trespass a boundary the way that you are. I'm sorry, goodbye. That is something that I will always be thankful. I learned that I cannot control anybody. I cannot control anything. I cannot control anything that happens. I just needed to let go. So I learned to let go. Everybody, what they do is their karma. And I just can only focus on myself, no matter what others are or aren't doing. I also learned that I need to live in the present moment. Not thinking about the past because it's gone, or the future because it's not there. This is the only second that we have. And now it's gone. And now it's gone. This is the only moment. And we can only do the best now. We cannot change the future. It's going to come. But we can change our mind so our future is the best that we can receive. And when you look at the past that doesn't exist anymore, you can see all these valuable lessons so you can be your very best. I think that he was a kind teacher that came to this world to show me who I really am. I'm light, I'm divine, and I now, thanks to this person, I'm connected to my inner true self. Now my reality is different. I learned that suffering is optional. Things are going to happen all the time around us, but our own suffering, that's our option. And I can choose every second of my present, of the right now, how I want to live it. Remember, this right now is the only moment that we have. This is it. And now it's gone. Next second. And if you think like that, you can actually be grateful for every second you're breathing. It's so beautiful that we have this chance in this world, in this human body, to become the best version of our spirit self. You can put light in this darkness because you are creating your reality every second of your life. You are going to rewrite the story with love, with compassion, with wisdom, not as a victim or a wounded child. Now you have a bigger, more profound way of seeing life. You're going to put all that light in your life map. When there were negative areas, when there were dark areas, you're going to shine light and wisdom and love. And you understand now that all of this happened because you needed to learn something bigger and better, to be in a better position in life, to advance your path, to be able to be your true self. Your true self is just pure energy, full of love, full of this wisdom, full of compassion. You're perfect. And I am part of that perfect love. I just needed to realize that. And that's why I have these kind teachers that show me the way.